Holy shit.
I'll do the opening music.
Let's start the timer. Yeah, welcome. It's our painting pod.
And
Holy
I mean,
shit.
I guess we could introduce the pieces that we're working on right now. These are both real pieces that we're making for various reasons.
What's your reason?
This is for I have an art show coming up in February 17th. And this is going to be like a quiptych. So there's 5 panels, and this is the central panel of it. And it's called the Ass Festival, based on the last chapter of Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Nietzsche. You could probably remember we've been talking about that a lot.
You
In
love
podcast.
Nietzsche.
Yeah, I'm just also in a Nietzsche mood. Like,
Nietzsche
I mean, the
fanboy.
two things are all connected. You know, it's all for the same reason, really. But yeah, there's Nietzsche right there.
Why is my easel so crooked? You see
That's a
that?
good question. I see it.
Crazy. There we go. That's better. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ass Festival, that's pretty cool.
What's your piece?
Mine doesn't really have like major names or concept. It's just kind of like a vibe. It's a vibe.
No, like where'd you get the idea from? And
The
then
idea-
like how long have you been working on it?
I was
And
trying to
what
make
was the inspiration?
kind of like not specifically to any place, but kind of like a regal, almost like going to church fits, looking out the window. I don't know. I wanted to encapsulate like nothing specific about the world, but a sense that something kind of foundational is being spoken, I guess. That is not like specific to any like specific place or culture, but when I look at this, it almost looks like a Red Sea or something. You know, it's very. But I think I'm gonna end up putting little flower petals in the sky, so it looks more like Field of Flowers.
That makes sense.
So they're not
That
like.
would be really cool. I really like the colors so far.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get a vibe down, but not really any like these people are not really any people, but I like that kind of art. I like art that's like doesn't really have a specific definition,
Right.
so that it allows you to just kind of figure out what it could be, or maybe I have a definition in mind, I just haven't told anybody.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, I just keep it loose.
I mean, I think vagueness is a powerful thing in art, and it's a
Yeah.
good thing to have or to use. It's one of the many tools on an artist's belt.
A lot of my shit is vague, even from back in the day, like especially my early stuff. I felt like it made no sense. But I would always have like weird smiling characters, or
Yeah, I feel that.
or characters that look like kind of like have a spiritual, like, you know, they're like priests or maybe monks, but they're not, you know, you don't know what religion they're from. That kind of vibe. Holy shit.
It's been a while since we recorded.
Yeah, what a way to come back. I wonder if they can hear Mojave.
I don't know. We didn't have him last time, did we?
Mm-mm.
So this is our first podcast. We now have a dog yelping in the background. So let us know if you can hear that in the back. Yeah. Let us know if you can hear it on YouTube.
He's out of control. He's absolutely crazy. Oh, this is what my face looks like. Oh shit, I forgot about my headphones. Is this gonna be doable?
I have to put it over
Oh.
my shoulder like this.
Pretty nice. Okay. It's good to hear myself so I know my sound is not too fucked up. Could be a little better too, actually. There we go. Oh wow. I'm trying to figure out how to like talk and then also focus. 'Cause
I
right
know
now
it's
hard.
kind of hard, and I'm like thinking. I mean, I could talk about what I'm doing. What I'm working on right now is I'm building up the background into the characters and the. Right, so I have a lot of work done on the background in the piece overall. This panel not as much maybe,
Mm.
but Yeah, I'm building forward, and then I slow. That's kind of how I'm working on this painting. I usually either do one of two things. I think with the painting, like I either start at the back and come forward, or I start at the uh, with the character and go out.
Yeah, I
A-
tend to do the character and then go out.
And then usually when I do the character, I do the background until it gets to the character, and then I do the character,
Yeah.
and or I kind of go back and forth. That's I'm going back and forth really right now. Do
Well, let's see if we can carry on a topical conversation since the right now the World Cups are happening.
these.
There's a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
the World Cup. I haven't watched any. You were watching some earlier, right?
yeah, no, not even the games themselves, but all the drama surrounding like
But
Qatar.
you didn't watch it?
Oh, I watched the game definitely.
Who was playing?
It was just one game. It was Qatar and Ecuador.
Uh,
Ecuador won pretty convincingly. But yeah, no, I just think there's a take a double-sided story to the whole World Cup. 'Cause it's one at one side, it's exciting that it's happening, but at the same time, there's like crazy kind of human right violations that went down over there
oh, that's messed
in
up.
terms of constructing not only the
Uh-huh.
stadiums for the venues, but also for like the incoming influx of foreigners, and the fact that the country itself is very young and it's like got new money basically, you know.
Right.
So it's just like it doesn't really have the same kind of up, you know, process of development that most other places I've seen. It almost seems like the development there is different, and it's like a bunch of trust fund kids running the
Oh, I
place,
see. I see.
which allows for like crazy, like corporatized loopholes and abuses for labor workers
That's
from
messed up.
foreign countries who are almost sometimes held hostage in the country because they are like being hired by people who have no qualms, kind of like taking away their passport, for example, and preventing them
Oh,
from leaving, or telling them that if they keep acting up, they'll fire them, making them an immediately an illegal immigrant in the country, getting arrested. Which is a crazy way to get them, you know, like if you don't go and comply with everything, we'll just fire you right here, and then you'll literally be arrested immediately because
that's so
you're no
insane.
longer working here on
Yeah,
a
that's insane.
working visa or whatever. And everybody seems to be in cahoots to keep the system running like that. I don't know. It just seems like everybody doing the broadcast kind of glosses over all of that.
Right.
There's not even a
Well,
single
they're getting
mention.
paid to gloss over that.
That's kind of crazy because I'm trying to be a fan of the sport and not like be complicit in such a violation. And some of the violations are wild. Like people will just die on the job, and instead of like proper medical attention, blah blah blah, they'll just send them home in a box. Not even tell their families how they died or what happened to make
That's
them.
so crazy. Man.
Yeah,
Like, can you imagine?
it's crazy. And then a lot of these people are coming from like very like I guess historically oppressed places, you know, like Kenya, Philippines. Some of them coming from Sri Lanka or southern India. You know what I mean? Like all those regions have experienced like crazy levels of colonialism, and are always kind of people assume that Europeans are the kind of like predominant oppressors in the planet, but people can't forget how much oppression the Arab people have caused in terms of just like the East African slave trade, the numerous still to today practice of slavery in North Africa and across like parts of Middle East like Lebanon or Kuwait, you know, like indentured servitude, that type of stuff still goes on, you know,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
and nobody talks about it. Like that stuff is just as concentrated, and the way they look at certain groups of people over there are just as discriminatory as any Europeans would be towards other groups. You know what I mean? But they're allowed to have very immense pride about that, which I find kind of baffling. Like I have nothing against Arab people, but like there's still a history of massive oppression. Even if you talk about like Ottomans and Armenia, you know, stuff like that. Oh, we lost George. I have a little wet wipe. little wet wipe.
The one thing I forgot was the little rag to wipe off your paintbrush with.
Can't forget the little rag. Rags to riches.
This is so crazy. It's almost like a out of sight, out of mind thing. Keep forgetting I'm on a podcast. Like the second I stop looking at the camera and stop seeing my microphone.
Podcast? What's that?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Ooh. The nice thing about this easel is I feel like I can really maneuver the canvas however I want it.
Did you make that yourself?
No, I got it from my granddad.
Crazy setup.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Did he make it?
I don't know.
What stage in the art are you? Are you near the end?
Of this piece,
Halfway? Yeah.
I feel like I'm about like the 45%.
45, nice.
Because like one thing to me is it's like, yeah, it's like the piece that's so this big. I feel like it's a little bit like the way I usually like to think about it. It's a little bit harder. But I've finished the sky, or I'm pretty close to done with the sky across the board, and the mountains are not bad. Like I definitely need to touch up these mountains. That looks not good, but overall the mountains are looking good. And the people are starting to have their figure, and then the table in the foreground is still absolute nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like that's kind of the whole thing. But I think the table is probably going to be the fastest part of it all.
Not bad, not bad. You definitely have half of it left. I know that's not. I thought it went to the floor for a second.
No, yeah. It's not like half blank, but it is like I do think it's about halfway, considering how much I've gotten done and need to get done.
The one you have. You had one upstairs where it looked like there was a little Mojave he was carrying.
Which
It
one's
looked like he had a little dog, like 2 eyes and a nose.
that?
I'll have to show you. It's so funny. A little mini Mojave. You guys could have met Mojave today if he wasn't being such a naughty little rascal. Out of control.
Did you have any topics that you wanted to talk about today?
We can talk about Trump.
Oh well, I don't know what to say other than I guess he's back on Twitter.
Is he back on Twitter?
Well, Elon Musk had like a poll, right?
Yeah.
And then the poll, it was like, who wants Trump back on Twitter? And everyone was like, it was actually 50-50, but I think Trump won like by the tiniest little bit. And so then they let Trump back
How do you feel about that? Are you excited?
on. I don't know. I think it's probably a good thing to have him on Twitter because it doesn't, I don't think it, we've talked about kind of censorship, and I don't think that it really made people less crazy to have him off of Twitter.
Yeah.
It made a lot of people see the world more conspiratorially, and I think it stopped us from having conversations. But like, I don't know. I definitely don't think that we should go back to Trump. I don't really think that that's a good idea. Obviously, I don't think he's gotten to be any saner or anything. I don't think he's had from what I can tell, his behavior isn't like better or anything.
No.
You know, so
I wonder what is his new slogan. Have you heard it? I didn't even heard it. I'm sure he's got a crazy one.
I don't know yet.
He always got a crazy
All I
slogan.
know is he was talking about executing people who just sold drugs.
Kill him.
Yeah, he killed them all.
It's really crazy next new slogan, yo. Kill all the drug dealers and Mexicans.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck.
And the Mexicans will go vote for him. Apparently, he gets a lot of votes from Mexicans and Latinos.
Yeah.
Which I'm not surprised by because certain those conservative rhetoric appeals to some immigrants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Immigrants, are incentivized to be that kind of conservative because essentially everything they do is an investment for their future and their kids. So you might as well hold on to what little you have and build from that, you know? Everybody was an immigrant at one point, except the Native Americans. Yeah, they were immigrants too, I guess. At one point.
We're all migrating people. And
Only
we were
place
just-
you're not an immigrant is when you're in Africa.
But even then, gotta think we gotta have the first time we ever set foot in Africa. We might not have been human beings.
We were microbes.
Yeah.
Or we were fish.
Or
creatures.
maybe we were human beings.
Or we were
And we got dropped off there.
Wait. Are you saying you don't believe in evolution?
No.
Interesting. I don't know you didn't believe in evolution. You don't believe in evolution?
No.
No way.
No, don't believe in evolution.
Oh my God. You hear this, people? We just got to the root of the debate. Why don't you believe in evolution? What do you believe in?
Creationism.
Okay, I'm a God-fearing Christian here sitting in front of you. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I still believe in evolution.
Well, agree to disagree.
But you got to back this up because I feel like the Bible stuff is only like truthful or relatable on a kind of metaphoric sense. I don't think we were literally created 5,000-6,000 years ago. That's absurd.
I think that
5,000-6,000 years ago?
I don't even think it was 5,000 or 6,000 years ago. I think it was maybe 100 or 200 years ago.
Okay. I don't know what the hell we're doing here,
What
yo.
do you say?
What? What is this?
Have you never heard of the phantom time hypothesis? They made up the years to like make it a bigger number.
But that doesn't really appeal to me like, the way, what's the word? Science has outlined and evidence to prove.
No, the science backs up what I'm saying.
No, the science backs up what I'm saying.
No, no,
there's so
science
much
backs me
archives
up.
there's numerous archives of not only humans but other creatures going through numerous stages of evolution.
Here, I'll send you some
How
sources.
do you get over that staggering amount of evidence that proves that there's been numerous kinds of life that has evolved from numerous
Well, first
stages?
of all, I'm a man of science.
Like, how are we ever even gonna discuss the Younger Dryas?
Well, that's real.
Re-
I say,
But 200 years, it happened 50 years ago in your Phantom Time world?
The Phantom Time only
I
has to
can't
do
believe
with
it, I'm shocked.
in between
In between what?
us and the Younger Dryas.
So everything before 200 years ago was just a phantom made up thing that was just downloaded into our brains?
200 years.
I thought you were a fan of history. Now you're basically
I
saying
am.
history never happened.
That's exactly why I'm a fan. It's like Harry Potter.
That's fucked up, yo. Sorry for my language.
Yeah. Watch that language, Haas.
Jesus Christ. I'm just shocked. Like, I'm not even a hardcore believer of it. Like, there's a lot of parts of evolution I would disagree with.
Oh no.
But I would say, like, there's still not really a better theory out there for how we came about. And you know what's crazy? They had evolution theory or similar types of it in other cultures that people don't even talk about. Like India.
Yeah?
India, for example, it wasn't explicitly like we came from monkeys, but like the idea that we evolved from like animals, like a kind of beast-like creatures. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Numerous stages of not just being human, but humans that have ennobled themselves throughout time and evolution and become better humans. Because again, being a human being today and a human being, 4,000 years ago in Mesopotamia is different. Especially if you're just like the average person, You're a lot more feral. But I also believe that
Well, that's fair.
it's one of those things where evolution kind of still working on us. So I think in time will be shown exactly where like the goal, or I guess the destination of evolution can
Well, that's
be.
the thing. I feel like convinced me against evolution.
Convince you against it?
Yeah, as I noticed that most people get worse over time.
Yeah, but you got to think about how what you're exposing yourself to. Because if you choose to, you can be around people that really are uplifting, and you can see their evolution on a regular. You can see them growing as humans, and we're really living. Talk about phantom time. Like we're living in such an instant moment of time that we're really unable to appreciate the slow speed of evolution, but the immense power behind evolution. That's not like fireworks in your eyes. You know, you see people transforming massively in your face. Like everything kind of happens slowly over time. But I feel like I can massively appreciate that in life, that we're only in a bubble, a pocket of time. We have to kind of piece everything through this moment in time, which will allow us to get a glimpse of where things are, how they came about, and then where they can possibly go. You know, one of the best parts of evolution for me is there's parts of it that seem almost magical. Like when you learn about how whales came about, how they used to be land animals that went like kind of like dog-like land animals, and then they went back into the water. Like that's wild to me. Like that slowly over time, you can go from the water to the land and then back into the land again.
I was just watching
Back
a
into
video,
the water
and they're
again.
saying that whales used to wear suits of armor.
You mean Welshmen?
No, the
Back in the-
whales.
They're getting
like
mixed
from
up.
the ocean.
They're getting mixed up again, yo.
Yeah, the Welshmen.
Think about the Welshmen.
They'd wear their suits of armors, and they'd have princes and castles and such.
It's absurd.
That'd be cool if the Wales and Wales united. That would be the coolest country. Like
No.
you cannot tell me that would not be the coolest country.
Wales and Wales. That's just, oh my god. But no, I say all this to say that evolution just is, I think, if you look
I don't
at it
even-
with the right eyes, is as magical as all those other
I don't
myths.
really believe that you believe in evolution. I think you're just
Wow.
trying to keep appearances up.
No, what would I lie about
I
believing
think
in
if
evolution?
you're honest right now, you'd say
I believe in evolution.
You'd say you don't believe.
I believe in it. And not only I don't want to say I believe in it like that's the facts. I choose to subscribe to that look because for me and my brain, that's the evidence I have seen so far that's convinced me the most. And I still believe in the Bible. I still believe not in specifically the Bible and what it says, but like I believe in God still. It doesn't mean that there's no God and everything's just happening haphazardly. In fact, I see God through evolution. I see the power of God because it's so immense and it's happening at such a level that for us it just seems unmoving, you know, like static.
Mhm.
Which is clearly not the case because there's been numerous cycles of destruction and birth. That's another thing about evolution that I love is like you can see how the earth has gone through so many stages of massive destruction, but that has led way to like a kind of a blossoming of new kinds of life because there's been so many stages of life, like from the Paleolithic to the Neolithic. You go back to the dinosaurs, like they were the humans of their time, you know, they were on top. It was like that was the dinosaur paradigm, you know what I mean? And we didn't know what that was, we didn't experience it, but the fact that it happened is for me as fantastical as learning about dragons and fucking knights, whatever to get kids excited, which they think is the truth or whatever it may be, you know.
So you're telling me you don't believe in dragons?
No, I believe in dinosaurs, which is as crazy
So
as
you don't
dragons.
believe in dragons?
I do believe in dragons too, but like I believe dragons
You've never seen a dragon?
don't really exist on the threat.
Now I know this is all
I would
little
say
front
dragons.
you're putting up to impress people on the podcast, because I know
I
for a
would
fact
say,
that
you
you
know,
believe in dragons.
Dragons, I don't say I disbelieve in them, but I don't believe they exist in a third dimension. So yeah.
So now we're getting to the meat and potatoes.
So yeah, like it just depends on where we're in Jamba Dweeb right now, and here there's a lot of rules.
Could you explain to the folks at home what a dimension is?
Well, it's hard to explain dimensions because you know we're speaking from such a low point that it's hard to point upwards and have anybody really understand what I'm saying. But it's not for me to tell anybody. I think it's one of those things where people have to experience it for themselves.
But like, what if they want to know?
There's nothing for me to really convey. I can say that in my own experience, certain things are understood better in other places. Not here. Here is just too much limitations. There are certain freedoms here that you can't get elsewhere too. Like you like the way that beer tastes. Good, right? It's good. It's good having a physical body that can enjoy food and drink and sleep and sex and fighting.
Well, so I was watching a documentary on
sports.
that Darwin fella. Turns out huge racist.
Sure, no, I mean, again, you gotta separate like the artist from the art, science from the scientist. And these people didn't create any of the science. They merely discovered the pattern is there, which I've already said been figured out before Darwin. I mean, there's been evolutionary theories that are echo similar sentiments.
So you're telling me that
before.
Darwin stole evolution?
He didn't steal it. He also happened to stumble upon it. Like it's not something you can accredit him for, like he created. He's not a god. What he did was put the dots together, and then once you have that, the powerful idea there, it creates a lot of vacuum for abuse. So who abuses his ideas the most? His predecessors, his media followers. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones.
Predecessors?
His people that are like pick up his work after him immediately.
Oh, you mean his
cohorts?
It's like the opposite of a predecessor.
His cohorts, his colleagues, whatever the fuck you want to call
Followers.
them. His followers.
His,
And it's self-serving. Like I don't know about you, but anytime there's these kind of crazy breakthroughs, whether it's scientifically, religiously, artistically, like the people who are, I guess, seen or are feeling like they are the top of the society at the time, tend to use that knowledge for self-serving purposes. It's just a pattern of history, and it comes from meager minds, not like Darwin himself explicitly. He might have been a racist too, probably. Anything that can excuse the horror of slavery, because how can you sleep at night? And that's all it was, so they can sleep at night and feel good about themselves. And then once their kids found out, they were more desensitized, and they did even more horrible things, So ultimately, it's like, I can never say the ideas are bad, because I just see like the amount of work a lot of people have done after Darwin to have brought, because not only is it studying evolution, but just studying archaeology and a lot of anthropology. There's been work done by thousands and millions of people that dedicated their whole lives to having us understanding so much new breakthroughs, which I take just as like I take anything else that excites me and makes me feel like I'm still waiting for the coming of Christ. Come on. But I still believe that once we were running around like animals. And I think that...
But how does
there's nothing wrong with that.
How do you
nothing wrong with
compute
animals.
that with the whole Adam and Eve story?
Adam and Eve, I see it as a metaphor. Like, it shows you... I think it's one of the most profound things man has ever written is Genesis. Because in its form, in simplest form, it explains to you how we went from mere survival creatures, just here, like, eating and fucking. We were able to move closer to self-knowledge and then self-reflection, like reflecting on what it means to be a good person, a bad person. All the questions opened up, kind of like Pandora's box, once you eat that apple. So that for me is a story about like how we just kind of fell in consciousness in one sense, but had new potential kind of open up in another. So Genesis for me, we lost a certain kind of closeness with whatever created us, because in that ignorant place we were kind of closer, more one with that. So you can consider early man as a way more feral creature, but that was more one with the earth. And then now we're not really one with the earth. We're kind of all individual little cookies. And we got to this individualism place slowly over time because of that seed that was cracked that allowed us to see a glimpse of ourselves being like more than just a little human bug. So I think it's a metaphor.
That we
I don't think we're
bugs?
No. We see ourselves just from we think we're just little bugs crawling around like every other bug, but the knowledge of the apple is what the knowledge of good and evil.
The tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
So for me, what that means is understanding you're left beyond all the dualities you've existed in for so long, and I think that happens on a macro level and a Thank you. it happens on a human, like to human level as well as a societal level. Like I think all of us as groups can evolve, but I also think you're right. We can devolve in a way, go backwards, but only
Yeah.
to step forward again even further. And I'm not here to sell you on evolution because like that's a uphill battle. But for me, I think I just try to find like the middle ground where everything kind of falls into place.
That makes sense. And I think that's fair enough. Well, I don't. I was just joking when I said I didn't believe in evolution.
So you were the fucking wow. You see this? He was the fuck. You were the troll the whole time. Not even me.
But I think it's interesting to think about because there's a lot of things that we just believe, like, and we'll just. I think you can make an argument like for anything. But I don't know. I mean, I think from a religious perspective, the way I kind of think about it is that, uh, like, I don't think about like Genesis in the Bible as a physical scientific description of how the world happened.
Yeah.
Right. The only person who would ever think to write a scientific description would be a scientist.
Yeah.
So, like the scientists, they're looking at the world and they're looking at documents that aren't written in a scientific method. That doesn't mean that they're worse than science. It just means that they aren't science. They were never claiming.
No, exactly. It's
So
like
they shouldn't be.
you can't
held.
say alchemy is science, even though they try to explore reality
Yeah.
in a way that's like trying to understand to get closer to it. It's still like a certain different kind of thing to itself. You know what I mean? And for example, like if you want to become a shaman, like there's a science to shamanism. You want to become a yogi, there's a science to you becoming a yogi. But we're not saying you're a scientist in the sense that you're going to be in a laboratory with a fucking coat on. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's just like the word in terms of like science can be like using the truths of something to kind of find practicality out of it. And then once you figure out the rules behind it, you can create technology. Because like we talk about yoga, like yoga is a technology and a science. Yoga is a science, but like all the certain prescribed moves and ways of exercise of practicing yoga can be the technology. Your body itself can be the technology for yoga.
Here's my opinion: is that I think that science is an action, like not a product.
Yeah, the technology is a product.
Like there's no time that we have
It's the
figured out
truths.
the world because we have done science.
It's the truths behind all the objects and practicality.
It's not truths. It's just data.
Well, but there's truths in science, or like
No,
at least like
I think that there's no
maybe that's the
there's no
word to
truth in science, but there's information. Is how I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Because
saying
it's not that. Yeah, it's not.
it's not
that,
in the absolute sense. I'm
It's
saying
not a
truth.
heuristic.
I'm saying truth in terms of like, we take stances that kind of help us create different positions.
Mm-hmm.
So like having these stances can amount to a certain level of, claiming that this is a factual kind of thing. There's a lot of factual claims in science, even if it's not.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that what science is it's just us observing what's around us, and then taking things we don't understand and then poking them and seeing what happens.
Poke, poke.
So, if you meet scientists, and I've noticed this in my life, if you meet a scientist, a science major, like anyone who's interested, like anyone who spends their time doing science, really what it is it's pokiness. Because you'll see that the way that they approach life is they like to poke things, right? They're very pokey people. The pokiest people you'll ever meet are scientists.
Like Facebook poking?
Yeah, like Facebook poking, exactly. Like poke.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very broad subject, but
Did you ever notice that?
I mean, it is part of the investigational habit, I guess. You want to be empirical about whatever you're trying to figure out. Got to poke.
But have you noticed that the scientists are pokey people?
Not like explicit. I would say they're pokey in terms of like they ask too many questions. So it's part of their nature,
Yeah. It's like be a good scientist, you're gonna have to be good at poking.
Yeah. A lot of poking. If you're a good priest, Catholic priest, you're gonna have to be good at poking too.
That's true.
Whoops, sorry. Sorry. Dark humor. But it's true. How's the art going?
It's all right. I've kind of switched it around a little bit. How you doing?
Good.
You're in the dresses?
I'm trying to like connect the colors so it looks like the values come out more.
I'm enjoying this new brush that you got me.
Hell yeah. I'm already whittling mine down.
I usually don't use brushes with like as long of handles as you do. It's one thing I noticed.
You like the short ones? Because you eat them.
I do eat
He eats his brushes, folks.
them. I do.
That weirdo. You talk about
What
the
was-
Grammys?
Oh, you want to talk about the Grammys? I also was going to ask what the question was of the day.
Oh, word. Let's talk about the Grammys real quick, though.
Alright. I know Future got nominated.
4 times, I think.
That's the main one I care about. Him and Pusha T.
Pusha T got a couple. Kanye got none.
He didn't release an album. Well, unless you count Donda too.
No, that got nothing. And rightfully so. But you know what's disappointing? No nominations for like UK drill music. UK drill is so good. Unless I don't, maybe I'm mistaken. I didn't see any like no Central C, no Digga D, nothing. No nothing. No Kano. I guess Kano didn't drop this year. But still, man, just like UK rap needs some respect on its name. You know what I'm saying? You don't like UK rap, do you?
I like it.
I don't think I've heard you play it though.
Well, I have played it. Remember, I was the one who showed you that song, I'm With It.
Oh, that's a good song. That shit is funny. I got fun girls coming my show. Yeah. Even though their dad's a racist.
That's a good one.
I think that's Tion or something. Yeah.
I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of like Easy recently.
Easy peasy,
Yeah.
double squeezy. You like you've been listening to a lot of Pac-Man too, huh?
Mm-hmm. He's just funny. You gotta enjoy it.
Oh, what do you think about what 21 Savage said
About Nas?
about Nas? You're right.
Ah, it hurts to hear. It's cringe, I think, but it's just like, I mean, it's really not like we haven't heard, like this hasn't all happened before, right? Like let's not pretend that this isn't the 5th time that like a current famous popular person has dissed like an old legend,
Yeah, especially
right?
when,
This just always happens.
their albums are competing right now. Low-key.
Yeah, and Nas is like has stayed relevant is the thing. So 21 is wrong.
He's wrong.
And Nas has been relevant and is still relevant, right?
He said he's got a loyal fan base.
What does he think he has? You know?
What do you think you're working towards, 21?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want that once they're like fucking...
Plus, it's like it's a similar group. Like it's not like 21. It's not like the same different people.
Yeah, I listened to both albums.
I think that he was kind of got some egg on his face with those comments.
Mad out of pocket.
Because yeah,
We were loving on both of y'all.
yeah, he's just I think he's isolating his fans. Or like he's trying to make it like you don't want your fans to have to choose between you and Nas, right?
Yeah.
Just because that's not a nice thing to do, right? That's just not
Who
a
would
nice
you
way to
choose?
treat your. I have to choose Nas for sure. Between those two,
Yeah, I would choose Nas too, probably. Just the back catalog is crazy.
yeah, it's just there's too much. Like there's just too much to
Too much
look
heat
towards
there.
it. And 21 has had a good career, but like you're talking about Nas, who has literally had probably the longest career out of anyone.
Yeah, one of the, yeah, with
because he was
Jay-Z.
going before Diddy was going, and he's still going now.
He's going before Jay-Z too, I think.
Yeah, way before Diddy. We got
Yeah.
like maybe
93?
5. He was going 91 was like his first
Before I was
like
born.
blow up was 91,
I wasn't even born yet.
and that was before Illmatic. That was like Live at the Barbecue, I believe.
Yeah, put some respect on that man's name.
Yeah.
Plus, he just dropped 3 albums that were all hits. Like, who else?
Yeah, he's
drops
still
th-
relevant.
Who else drops 3 albums that anybody
He's still
enjoys?
relevant 30 years after he dropped.
But he's not just relevant. I think he's top of the game. Like he literally, those
Right.
3 albums are all good.
Well,
I listened to all of them. All of them are good. In my book, it gets better. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's just fresh in my mind, but it sounds better to me. I'm gonna be honest. Sounds like he's all by himself. Like it's not like any features on there.
Yeah, it's not feature heavy or anything.
And it just feels like he's telling mad stories.
Yeah,
And I'm
for sure.
always picking up new shit every time I hear a new song. I really like Magic too. I hope he does a Magic too. Another Magic.
Magic was good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think. I think that it's like it's easy for someone like 21 to say something about Nas, but it's just wrong.
It's wrong. You're wrong.
Wrong.
You're wrong.
Wrong.
I'm really in this right now. I'm really in this.
I'm in it. That's a Kanye song.
What do you think about Beyonce getting almost every nomination possible?
Did she even drop?
Yeah, she had a whole album, Renaissance.
I didn't listen to it.
Bro, it's
I'm
sweeping.
sorry.
It's sweeping the Grammys.
Sorry, Beyonce.
It's a good album though. Like, I'm not gonna hate on it.
No, I'm not hating on that. I just didn't even notice.
Did you not see? I guess we didn't play much of it here. I play it a lot at work. Honestly, that's the most time I get it. That song in my head, that album in my mind is when I play it at work. Otherwise, it is kind of a non-play in this house. We just got too much UK drill playing. You know what I'm saying?
42 Doug.
42 Doug. Love 42 Doug. Love Skepta.
I like that guy.
Yeah, my favorite album of the year is Future. My favorite song of the year is that 42 Doug song with Future.
Like me.
Like me.
Yes, just fire.
Play that song nonstop, literally the whole summer. That was the song of the summer. 42 Doug. Hits. Also Central C of Fire.
Central C's really been making a name for himself. I have to
Pop
say.
off. Popping off.
I think that the issue though I've been having with drill is that a lot of the songs just kind of it's like okay, it's good, but it like a lot of them
Don't
just
say they
blend
sound
together
the
to
same.
me.
Don't say they sound the same. You'll sound like an old lady to me. Don't say it.
No.
Don't say it. Don't say it all
They
sound the
kinda
same.
do.
It doesn't.
Some
That's
of them
what
don't.
outsiders
Some of
say.
them don't. Some of them
People
don't.
say that about Future all the time. Everything sounds
Right.
the same. I'm like, no,
But
it
like the
doesn't.
good ones stand out. And I mean, I think that the good ones do stand out with.
That's
UK
what I say
drill.
about music. I just generally don't like. Like Taylor Swift, you play that shit, I'm gonna say all of it sounds the same. So that's what my ear hears. Like I don't hear much difference when you just you don't like it. But when I hear that,
no, I
hear,
don't dislike it. It's just that it feels formulaic. Like I feel that way about a lot of music.
Well, maybe there's definitely like it's a big genre now. So there's
Right.
definitely gonna be
There's tropes. And
there's definitely gonna be
traditions.
people who are gonna be a little formulaic. Not everybody's gonna slap like Central C and Eurovision. Damn. But yeah, fuck the Grammys. The Grammys always are nominating like pop music. Like I don't get it. It's like the opposite of the Oscars. The Oscars like go out of their way to nominate like everything that's like so deep and different. You know what I mean? Like they want to like go really artsy and like But the Grammys, they don't give a shit about like the artsy people. They really
Right.
just want to back the popular vote. Sometimes they try to go artistic kind of expressional people who are like a little not known but might be very like different in what they're producing, you know what I mean? But no, it's a lot of Adele, a lot of Lizzo, a lot of Harry Styles, a lot of Beyonce, a lot of Kendrick. You know, yeah, Kendrick is great, but he's definitely pop now.
I don't know if that's even true.
Pop. You heard that song Rich Spirit? Ooh, ah. Come on. Bitch, I'm attractive. Ooh. Yeah. And then the song Die Hard. Like those are so poppy. Those songs are super poppy songs. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I do think he's been very innovative too. Like he's broken like he's definitely broken the rules.
What
Kendrick.
rules? The music is great. Like I like those songs.
Like especially to Pimp a Butterfly, I think of as like
no, those that's you're going back to when he was like really no,
yeah.
that's-
Now it's been
Now
much
it's
more
what I'm
like
saying, he's
the
like-
last few albums have definitely been more. You know, he knows he wants to hit those paychecks, and can you blame him?
I mean, he's done the Taylor Swift collab before.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Bad Blood. He was literally on Bad Blood.
and like I feel like he's not explicitly embracing pop music, but he's using pop tropes to make that message go across, which is
that's-
effective. But it doesn't it's still poppy as fuck. I'm still like, whoa. Okay.
What about
It's cream to my ears.
all of what about Gucci Mane and all of his friends?
What about them? They get nominated?
No, but don't you think they should have?
Yeah, but they never get nominated. Like I told you, you gotta be pop. Like I was telling
Like,
you,
don't you think that like, does
Future's
Gucci
own,
Mane have a
Future's only Grammy win is that one Black Panther song. He's like, na 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 na.
yeah?
You know, like you got to do that to like get their attention. And Young Thug's one win is from Havana, Havana. You know that song? I got
Oh,
to
yeah.
your mama's house, something like that. Which is not a good song.
That's just pop.
Yeah, but it's like one of those pop that's just like kind of starts to get grating,
Yeah.
What's going on? I
Overplayed.
can't do too much of this. But even Donda didn't do that darn great
With the Grammys?
last time, yeah. Last
Yeah.
year.
Well, like now that Kanye is super controversial because of obviously all the horrible things that he's been saying. Everyone is like saying like that. Oh, he was never like somebody's telling us like, oh, he was never great as a musician, and that's
Yeah,
just like
flipping.
that's just patently false.
People are flipping on him.
Like he's like what he said is definitely horrible, and he shouldn't have said it. And like I don't.
Oh,
I'm not saying
somebody
we should
said some
just say-
crazy shit that actually got me tight. I don't want to
Uh-huh.
say who it was, but they were like, Kanye's only influential to like suburban white boys. I'm like, how you steal Kanye from us and then give him to the white boys in the suburbs? What are you doing?
That's crazy.
This is a white person saying this. I'm like, yo, that's I was almost offended.
Well, that's what's
yo.
crazy is
Just because the suburb boys just like what's hot. They're like it. They go after
Right.
what's cool, what's hot. They're not deciding anything. They're just kind of spectators, and there's no way you're gonna equate his influence and what he's done to only them as being the impact. It impacted so many people, and not just like black people, but it impacted people all over the world, artists, creators, even people who are not particularly creative are just like enthralled like Kanye's music. It's just there's power there.
Yeah.
And you can't say this just belongs to the one group of people. That's just annoying to me.
That's ridiculous. Well, it's also crazy too that like somebody said that because like I always notice that most of the time when people say shit like that, they end up being white themselves, and they're like really
Yeah,
trying,
like,
to,
and I
like
think
they're
it's
really trying to
offensive.
fit in or something.
It's offensive because I just see it as like appropriating our art, or people in our community who've made these artworks for the community and for the world at large. Just being reduced. They've done this to other art. Like Tyler the Creator, they say he's like he only appeals to the white boys. No, I love Tyler because he's like a black nerd, and I want more black nerds in the world. You know, I think that's very valuable because we shouldn't just have to be gangsters. I want black nerds. Mojave, shut it down. You heard Tyler, the creator, he gets upset. Same with JPEG Mafia. Like he's still ours. He doesn't belong to the little white boys.
Little white boy.
We welcome.
It's like every time, as long as this conversation gets longer, it's like it doesn't belong to little white babies. Like they get younger. It doesn't belong to white fetuses.
It's crazy, yo. It's like, yo. And it's because a lot of the people who can afford to go to concerts are like people who are more well off. So you tend to see a lot more white boys there. It doesn't mean that we don't like it. We just can't afford to go to the shows.
But the thing is, like, I mean, everyone kind of listens to similar music, right? It's not an ownership thing. Like,
exactly,
when I'm listening to music, doesn't mean I'm claiming this and blah blah blah.
People actually used to do shit like that.
Which is crazy. But it's just fucked up.
It's like gatekeeping.
Or it's ridiculous too to have like some like, I don't know. I think that what it is it's like, maybe it's what it is. It's like white bitches who aren't into like, you know, that kind of music. They're like trying to come up with an excuse.
It's always little.
Oh, that isn't black person music. That's white boy music.
Yeah, it's just
really like
they're just justifying their disdain.
They're just justifying the fact that they hate on it.
Yeah, they're just trying to hate on other groups when using our shit.
And if you ever need to hate on it, blame it on the white boys, huh?
Hold on. There's a lot of blame white boys can take too, but like in certain aspects, it just makes no sense to me to be like scapegoating it like that. It's offensive. Multi-offensive. You know what I'm saying? Know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Where we at with time? Oh wow, we're at the 51st minute. When does your shit cut off?
Flying. I think it's 2000, so we're at like 15.
15 minutes? Oh, we're at 1500?
We're like 3/4.
Okay. Well,
we can break it up and do 2 parts too.
No, I don't think we should because I definitely want to get. I might have to go get the dog.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, so let's get into the question.
Question of the day today. Do you believe there is divinity to mankind, to humanity?
Yes.
And if there is, what would you describe it as? Kind of like bouncing off the evil question last week, the last time.
Like, I think that there's divinity inside of all of us, and we all have equal claim to it. But you'll notice that a lot of people end up being consumed by evil instead. Right?
Yeah.
So we all have the potential for divinity. And as a matter of fact, because we all have that relationship with divinity already, one of the worst abuses somebody could ever tell you is like that they are here to be in between you and God. Right?
Yeah.
Like who am I to say that to you?
That's crazy. Yeah, you can't. That's crazy. Well, I guess we're definitely both gonna agree on that. But I'll say like divinity is fundamental to every aspect of reality, not just man. But if you break it down to another fold, there's a certain thing man has inherited that would, like a different spark, a different aspect of the divine that man has, that maybe animals or plants might not possess. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
Because I know that everything is divine, everything has connected to the Godhead or whatever, but like a divine aspect that kind of separates us from everything else. Would you say that exists?
Definitely.
And what would that look like? Is it the genius that every individual has throughout time shown?
I think it's the wisdom of the Divine Father, shining through us, God the Father, to wisdom, patience, and the ability to create harmony, create beauty. Like there's the creator inside of us.
That's what I was gonna say. Like
inside
the arts.
of all of us, and so.
Is that one of the main separations too? Because we are like the only ones really expressed like
well,
this.
we're like that, but it's like the other animals, I think, can aspect like certain aspects of God, But that's what we are built to.
Yeah.
to
What
embody.
animal God aspect do you see? Like the loving quality of a dog, would you say is like God?
Yeah, or the
loyal love?
camaraderie of a dog,
Yeah.
the prankishness of a cat.
Ah, this is good. Yes. Yes.
The
Okay.
mindless consumption of the goldfish.
Yes, these traits are inherited from the Godhead itself. All right. Oh, I would definitely agree. But I think we forget that a lot. We don't even know, honestly, not directly. Not directly.
Yeah, I think that it's. I think that we all do have the potential to be connected to good and God, but there's evil is trying to stop us at every turn of the toboggan and getting us into fall into these old trips,
Toboggan.
and even to judge ourselves to say you're not worthy. Like I was watching this church service on the YouTubes, and they were talking about you have nothing to feel guilty about. Like you did nothing wrong your entire life.
What?
Like you have to accept that. Chris.
Did you agree with this?
Yeah.
You did nothing wrong? I don't know. I've been doing a lot of wrong things.
No, but it's not that everything you did was right, but that when you did things that were so called wrong, it wasn't your fault because you couldn't help it. Because you were traumatized, because you're like falling to like lower spirits.
I mean,
because man himself is weak. Man without God is weak.
I mean, I would say that for the general, like the mere existence of humanity, but I would say there are still times where I could have controlled myself, and I would say it was my fault.
I don't think you could ever.
Because a lot of the times when I did some of the most wackish shit, I would say it was being reactive. Like, yes, somebody came provoke me. Let's say I beat up some kids when I was a kid.
Who was it that you beat up?
I'm just saying, like, I used to get into stupid little fights all the time.
And what was his name?
There's a lot of fights.
So you can't count. There's so many. Were you a bully?
No, that's all. There was no internet. We were just fighting. We just fought. We fought as in groups. We fought. We got jumped. I got jumped several times. And there's times where I was not the nice guy. You know what I mean? Like, I would jump some dudes with some kids. It just happens.
But like, it wasn't your idea.
And that's just one example. Like,
hey,
I've
guys,
done more things.
It wasn't like everyone before you was like living like divine little cherubs, feeding each other grapes, and then Kareem came in and convinced everyone to start being violent. That's not what happened.
No, we were just part of the life. That's the story.
Yeah, it was already happened. Is what I'm saying. So it's like you can't, like that's not your responsibility.
No. But like there were still times where I made choices. That's what I was gonna say. Like there were numerous potential for me to like do other things, but I would still act in accordance with the way things were, just to kind of like perpetuate it even more. When I didn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like what kids do. That's why when you're a kid, you just get into a lot more trouble because you're in that place of like, you can make these like as an adult, you kind of have to limit yourself from these choices at all. Like you don't even have them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't go out there and start fighting kids. Or anybody for that matter. It's just like there's gonna be more consequences.
You're telling me you can't punch a baby.
Yeah, but I'll still like as a kid, even though there are consequences to me acting up, I'll still make that choice because as a kid you feel like the choice is more of a thing. As an adult, you realize it's not really a choice. You just have to kind of act an adult. You know what I mean? Because I kind of was abusing that aspect. I would like always choose violence or always choose to be rambunctious. And my cousins would have to beat me up.
But do you understand what I'm saying about like that wasn't you?
Yes, it was.
No.
Trust me, it was.
It wasn't you making the decision.
Are you talking about free will right now? Is that what this is? Okay, then yeah, you might be right. Maybe on a deep level,
Like I'm not saying it was Sandra.
But I have to be responsible because I'm the one who is the recipient of all the consequence.
Well, it's not about like taking responsibility because
If I
responsibility is
listen, let's say I take a staple my forehead, even if I don't have free will and I just did that, there's not like a third entity that's controlling me that's gonna take the pain.
Right.
So I have to go along with everything like it is my responsibility because I'm the one who's gonna bear the
I'm not
consequence.
saying that you shouldn't feel responsible for yourself. I'm saying that you shouldn't blame yourself.
I never blame myself. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Like I can be open about because I don't blame myself.
No, and I'm not saying that you do, but I know that I think a lot of people do blame themselves for things.
Yeah, no, that's not
right,
productive.
and then that holds them back because
Yeah.
they're like overcome by like shame and self judgment and things like that.
Yeah, no,
right?
like that only happens to me on a level where if I just inherently dismantle myself. You know, like part of being who I am is knowing that I've been the product of a lot of different things that were not necessarily all cohesive. A lot of what's made me is chaotic, unpredictable, sometimes self-destructive, other times external destruction. You know, like there's all kinds of shit that's made me, so I have to kind of embrace those things and not include them as to what I am. But at the same time, I don't let that control me or cause me shame.
You have to notice what's controlling you.
Because everybody has to get dirty along the way. Like you're not gonna create a concrete form of self. If you haven't touched the oven a few times, got burnt. You know what I mean? At least for me, I have to learn.
Wait, what did you say about that?
I have to touch the oven and get burned to learn that it's hot. I'm not born knowing it's hot. That's for a lot of things. You know, it's like it's just the way it is. I think many kids are like that because of the.
Right.
That's how you relate to the world, and then over time, like how you react to those things, kind of make you. And then you dig deeper because it doesn't end there. Like there's just so much aspect to who I am, like that I'm constantly building it up to the way where one day, there's nothing that can dismantle me or who I am. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Because I know exactly what made me and who I am. Because all that is a doorway to just like true self-knowledge, self-discovery. All the experimenting you do when you fuck up. It's like making art. You're fucking up all the time. So you learn from those things. And then not truly, slowly, you would discover what you truly are on top of all of that. Because all of it, a lot of it is surface shit. And so many people live in the surface that they don't even know, like, any of this shit exists. Self-knowledge, aspects of self, past life self, other dimensions to oneself. No, it means nothing. And it's almost laughable to a lot of people. But it's true. Like, I'm not just sitting here as a static soul. Like, there's layers. That's for everyone.
But I also think that there's...
Even computer has layers of software and hardware. It's not like a box, and then you just kind of put everything in one, and you have to create this structure behind your physicality, your spirit, your mind, everything. It has layers. Like even my mind has layers to it. It goes from the surface conscious to the deep unconscious mind. Like same with my soul. The birds and snakes are looking good. Is that a bird and a snake?
Yeah.
Looking good, yeah. But yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I do think that there's a lot to learn, right? And then we can continue to learn. Because I always think that one of the best things to do is to, like, see yourself more clearly. Right. And see what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because then you can understand and then you can, Because I think that the only thing that you really have control over is what you attach to. Like you can only choose one thing.
Yeah, and it's good to know, like, again, you're never gonna. This is not to like write a book and tell somebody who you truly are. This is just like discovering the hidden layers of which is gonna give you a lot of benefits, whether it's artistically or philosophically or even just feel good in life. Because it feels good. Like I don't know, the some of the most peak ecstatic experiences I had is learning that I'm more than just like a sack of meat. You know what I mean?
This is
Some
going
of
to
the
be
most-
controversial to our
Some
YouTube
of the most
audience.
terrifying thing is also
You hear this? We're not just a sack of
learning
meat
you're more than just a sack of
spinning
meat.
on a rocket hurtling
I-
through space.
I mean, a lot of people live in that reality so hard that it hurts to hear that. It just hurts. It hurts to hear you're more than a sack of meat. Sit down long enough.
Yeah.
Even when I dream at night, I like, what is that? You know?
Mhm.
I
The
think
world's in a
that's-
beautiful place.
I think that's wild, fantastical shit.
yeah.
every dre-
Wild
I-
and fantastic.
I don't know. My reality is almost dreamlike. Sometimes
Mhm.
like magic, almost. You know, and that's where you want to strive to
Especially when you see
develop.
the dragons.
I've never seen one dragon. I've never seen one ghost.
No.
But all of it is magic.
I've seen so many ghosts.
I've
I've
never
seen
seen a ghost.
ghosts, demons, dragons, chimeras,
I've never seen a demon not once.
imps.
Imps?
Yeah.
What?
Imp.
Imps. Is that? Can you say that?
An imp? What? Yeah. It's like a small goblin.
Okay.
What you think?
For me, what is the most fantastical like fantasy should I see? I haven't seen nothing.
Never?
Like I've seen real life shit that's crazy, like a crazy animal, like a baby leopard or a white
Major.
buffalo or something. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know, like a blue dragonfly. I've never seen anything like so crazy like that. I've never seen the sky open, close.
One time I looked up at the moon
Yeah.
and there was a lady on it, holding an umbrella.
See?
Do you believe me?
Mm-mm.
You don't believe me.
No, do I believe you saw it? I
Yeah.
believe you saw it. No, I believe you saw it. I don't believe she's there right now.
No, I don't. I don't know. Like, I don't think it was a physical thing. You know, I mean, I don't think that you could do.
And trust me, I've tried.
But I
Like,
saw it.
I've tried to see these things. I've tried to open up to these things, but I don't know. I've just connected to a whole different. Like people think when you talk about being spiritual or you have a spiritual practice or you like to connect to reality on a spiritual level, like you're gonna constantly be seeing ghosts and goblins, or you're gonna be on some like astrological, alchemical, chakra fused ninja blade, like like Naruto. No, it's never like that. I don't see shit. I don't feel. I don't like not feel. I don't
Well,
see
the
nothing
way-
open up. You know what I mean?
The way I understand.
I
it
just
is
see the way everything is, but it almost feels like I don't know. I grew up for like 21 years for seeing reality
you're older
almost.
than- how old are you?
No, I'm
You're
saying
not
for
21.
21 years, I saw everything in like almost like muddy black and white TV color,
Oh.
And then now, in recent years, I feel like I've upgraded my vision to high definition viewing.
Mhm.
And that for me has been way more mind boggling than just going to see the goblins and the ghouls.
Well, no, I think it's all connected. And like,
Yeah, I'm sure.
I
There's
don't think that,
metaphors
like,
for certain
yeah,
other things.
it's like when I say like I've seen like goblins and things like that. It's not that like it's just like Dungeons and Dragons, and I
Yeah.
just right. It's like actually it's much more spiritual and much more like that's not.
No,
that's not
exactly.
really the
I would
important-
never
That's
discount
not
them.
the important stuff.
It's like the
is
dragon.
it?
I
It's not
believe in
that-
dragon.
It's not that you need to see. It's not that anyone needs to see that stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's not that that's even relevant.
Nope.
It's not even a necessarily good thing I saw that. But it's probably a testament
But it's a
to my
different.
bad character.
It's a
that I
different
saw.
dimension. No, I think it's just I just don't have that clairvoyance. I just don't have it. Like,
Oh.
you ever read Rudolf Steiner?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Stein, who?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Steiner. So he would talk about like how certain segments of the population have clairvoyant consciousness, which allows them to kind of perceive very thin lines in reality, which is hard to gaze at when you're just caught up in the physical. And I just think I have which is the other brain. But each brain can relate to the spiritual
Wow.
in their own unique
Yeah.
way. One is just able to glimpse these extra layers of reality, which might not be shown to us, which allows them to just, see one aspect. But like they might not be able to feel as deeply, maybe, into these worlds.
I think everyone has like their own way of relating.
It's
to
like
things
Harry
and
Potter. You
shaping
said,
them.
like everybody just has different powers.
Yeah.
And
It's just like Harry Potter. It really is.
okay, I probably should wrap it up soon so I can get this dog.
Any final parting words?
Yeah, don't vote for Trump. And Andrew Tate is not
Watch
cool.
out for dragons.
Andrew Tate is still not cool. He's still
Right.
lame as shit. Like I see like people trying to reweave the narrative.
No, yeah. Grand chat fella we see on Instagram.
Grand Chat fella, yeah.
No, not happening, buddy.
Grand Chat fella. I mean, he's not even like charming or funny to me. Like I don't know what the hell.
Well, they're
is
like, so
going
they're being
on.
like,
And like the biblical rhetoric is just weird. Like,
they have like some weird
Women should just be
nickname
at
that they
home.
talk about him.
women should just clean.
Yeah.
I own her. Like bro, like chill, man, chill. Like that's a backward step right there. Going along with that motherfucker, and then now he's trying to act like he's Muslim, which is really annoying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's convenient to be Muslim right now for him. It's like, bro, you were never Muslim till now. If I was in one of his circles and I was Muslim, I would have been tight. I would have dropped his ass.
You think he's just doing it
It's convenient.
to
It matches the rhetoric, like his extreme like talk.
Oh.
It just matches that rhetoric.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, thank y'all for joining us for our paint adventure. Wait, let's just talk about let's look at our paintings to see.
Oh yeah, I was like blocking it the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of worked on this one figure. Kind of made her dress.
Yeah,
kinda
the
pop
dress
out.
was really flowing. I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm trying to make.
Were
it
you working
flow.
on the birds at all, or just the dress? Just the dress.
Just the dress?
Wow.
An hour of the dress. What did you work on?
I was all over.
The half moon is crazy, or the half sun thing.
There's the half moon, yeah.
Wow.
I did a little bit on the background, and then I did I added a lot of the red, and I added some pink on their faces, and then I also added some details to this face.
It would be cool to see the podcast move in the flow.